going on here? Yeah. So that's part of it, and you're not to outline some eyeball like that. It's not what you're trying to do. You don't want to do a painting of an eye. You want to do a painting of relationships of various things that might speak to you. It might be of interest. It doesn't have to be really complex. It can be very subtle, but you can see how you can't identify that those are all just shapes and colors, and how they start to relate to each other. Something that happens that talks to you, that tells you this is worth painting. You have to come to that determine that your subject, whatever it is that you find, it's as simple as that. So if you take a picture, like a calendar picture like this, then you're going to have, different things that you don't want to be able to identify it. You want to be able to abstract what it is you're looking at. It can feel like a building or like something, but then again, you'll have a different take on it, and you'll go, well, I don't know, what is that, and so it's about, again, it's about the picture, the design of your picture, whatever it is that you determine that you want to paint. If you pick something like this is grass, and it's like some kind of beach or something, the photographs are focused on this lighthouse, but they're not focused on this material here, this foreground area. So this is out of focus. So if you were to pick out something that's out of focus like this, then you want to paint it a little bit out of focus. You want to try to concentrate on it being out of focus. So let's say you did something like, say you saw this and you go, let's see, let's find something. So you say, this is my, let's see, and you want it to hang a certain way, you can say, that's my picture. Well, if you put a loop on it, you'll be able to see what's actually going on. Somebody asked me yesterday, I think it was Christine, she said, why did you paint red underneath the portrait of my grandkid, that I was working on, Gracie? And I said, and I told her, I said, because it's in the picture. If you take a photograph like this and you examine it and you look at it and you look at the colors that are there, you'll see that the colors, the edge of the photo shapes and things will give away the palette. It'll give it away. You'll see it. That's why when I showed you guys pictures of pop art done by, say, for example, like that guy at Davis, what's his name? Not Diebenkorn, but I forget his name now. But anyway, he's famous for putting halations, a little red, a little yellow, a little blue along the edges of forms. And the reason he did that is because he saw that. He saw it in the photographs that he was copying. And actually, you see it in your still life. When you had your still life up and you were copying it, I don't know how you looked at it, but if you really examine the edges of cups and shadows and things, you'll see those halations, those relationships, you'll see them. It's just the way things work. Like, for example, like here, this edge of this paper, I don't know if you can see that, but like right along the edge, like here, this paper, see right here, there's a little bluish kind of, a little faint blue line there. It's really not there. It's the illusion of this blue hitting this, being backed against this gray. So here you see a little halation of blue here. So those kinds of things actually happen in cameras and with your eyes. They actually happen. That's why cameras are able to pick that up, because those contrasting colors have difficulty focusing on one and the other at the same time. It's called simultaneous contrast. So what happens is that those vibrations, those color vibrations actually occur in your eye because it's going back. It feels it. Your eye wants to adjust to one color and then it wants to adjust to the other one. And you start seeing these little halation effects. And that's what those artists picked up on because the camera picked it up too. So if you look at a picture and you want to know what's going on in it, if you use a magnifying glass, like especially with this calendar picture here, this is all out of focus. So when things are out of focus, you can see the out of register color effect. It's there. You can see, go, oh, it looks kind of reddish, it looks a little yellow, green, whatever. You can go, oh wow, look at that. There's this thing going on. That's because of the way it was printed and how the camera saw it. And these magnifying glasses pick up on that. So if you pick something that's really fuzzy photograph because it's out of focus and that's what you want to paint, then you want to follow that a little bit. You want to show that out of registration effect. How do you do that? Well, in acrylics, I lay down one color and then I lay down the other color. And I start with light colors and go to dark colors. And when you do that and you don't line them up exactly the same, they're slightly out of register, then you'll see the red a little bit and you'll see that fuzziness on the edge, and that'll read as, soft, out of focus. That's one way. And then if you go back over it with a soft brush over everything, then it'll sort of blend them together a little bit, and then it'll look like really out of focus because it's already kind of blended and you can't see the edge. It's sort of fuzzy and all of that. So so if you pick a photograph with that, then look out. Expect to have things out of register and out of focus, and that's part of your intent because that's what you picked. If you don't pick anything that's fuzzy and out of focus, and you pick something that's real clear like this is very clear, then the texture of what you pick, what's there, will be, and there is some out of focus effect there. Even there's a little bit of out of focus effect. So that's what the assignment is. And if you don't have one of these, then cut a hole in a piece of paper like this and do the same thing, right? So you're going to be going like this. You'll be looking for your design. This is blue paper. It really throws it off. But anyway, I think you get the idea. And what's going on here? Oh. Okay. Let's see if I can get this thing. Oh boy, there we go. Turn it around the other way. I'm getting all this shadow stuff, but I'm sorry. But anyway, you can see here, there's something going on there, right? Look at that. That becomes like a hole. And if you work here, abstraction is a very strange thing, the way artists do abstract art. Because I explained this before, sometimes when you do something like this, the reason you gravitate towards it or a design or whatever, something that you like, is because of the associations of what it reminds you of. You can go, oh, that looks like a silhouette of a person. See, if you look at this, all this dark looks like shoulders and a head and a hat, and it's not that at all. It's just an abstraction, but it reminds you. You make associations with abstract art. I often do. When I was young, when my kids were real little, we would sit down in the living room and I would do these abstracts, and then we'd sit around and look at them, and they'd go like, what does that remind you of? So we played this game, like, oh, that's like a toaster, or whatever, you project onto it. That's a lot of fun, and that's kind of like what some artists do. They really connect viscerally to something they project. It's an abstraction, but it's hidden. It's like a hidden subliminal, secret, it's very interesting. They don't tell you what it is. They want you to do your own trip, to do your own sort of association with it. So that's one way people do abstracts. The other way is non-objective work, which is generally more geometrical and maybe more a little stiffer, a little colder. uh, non-objective, no association, very mechanical, more AI, you know what I mean? It's more AI. Well, anyway, and so I got a few videos posted on a module for this class, and I thought maybe we could watch those a little bit and talk about that, abstraction. Now, when they talk about it in the videos, they talk about not this assignment. This assignment's for you guys, so you don't have to work so hard at inventing the wheel. You're just going to find your own little abstract thing, and you're going to paint it, and you're going to go out of your way to try to, be really careful and pick up the nuances. It's always about the texture and the relationships and the little stuff versus simple, that kind of thing. Things that are contracted, things that are expanded, big areas of color versus small little detail areas. That's sort of the dynamics of picture making in a way when you think about it. It's like dancers. When dancers dance, how do you tell a story as a dancer and you're doing some modern dance? What are you doing? And they do it through their bodies, and they actually go through these things where they contract and they open their arms and they expand, and they get this whole dynamic of gesture and human anatomy and all that. They take what they have, they take what they have, and that's what artists do too. They just take the elements and make them talk to you, so that you have that, so you can you have something that you want to share, So so let's look at these videos. And any other questions? I think you guys